I'm going to crack this thing open.
You know how like advent calendars for kids, those chocolates?
Yeah, we got one.
I'm like that with pumpkin pie.
No, it's my first Marvel movie. Everyone's like, oh my God, you got to see a Marvel movie in theaters. So I'm like, okay, I'll go see Spider-Man.
Maybe they should have been in there because I have some opinions on why Georgia is in the playoffs. They should not be in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
Why should
Not
they?
you.
They just lost.
Welcome to the Beer and Sports Podcast. We are part of Finn's Talk Sports Network. Make sure you like and subscribe to both of us and the network to stay up to date and catch every episode of us and all the great shows on the network. We're Beer and Sports at Mugs and Balls on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm Josh Wingate 302, Josh Kimmel OUS. And as you can see, we have a very special guest, two-time Grey Cup champion, quarterback for the Montreal Alouettes. I said that correctly, right? Alouettes. We had this whole argument back and forth earlier.
Yeah, that's good.
But most importantly, potential teacher of the gritty, Trevor Harris. How you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic.
Cannot complain. Now let me ask you: is that the Mike Gesicki gritty? Because that's the one I prefer. Or are you just trying to get the cool Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson style?
You know, one time I was watching film and we had a guy like kind of weave right and left, and our coach called it, "Oh, you're doing the white boy weave." I feel like that's kind of like the white guy gritty, and you know, a lot of my teammates do a really good job of doing the gritty, and they've had me try it a couple times, and I'm the guy that they're like, "Watch Trev," and so they get a good laugh at it. So I would call it the white guy gritty.
Love it.
So your team fought hard, got to the semifinals, but they unfortunately lost. Have you been able to reflect on your season?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, as is every year. You go into a year and you start to try and project as to what the year is going to look like, what the next few years are going to look like. And this year was no different. That you try and project stuff, you try and tell God your plans, and he's just going to laugh at you. And never did I think I'd be taken over as the starter in week 2. I assume maybe a team would want to trade for me or, you know, that sort of thing, you know, keep myself in shape and looking like a franchise guy in practice and, you know, provide a spark for another team or whatever it may be. And I got an opportunity, a chance to play, and just took off and run with it and had a good time doing it. There were some ups and downs learning the new coordinator because we fired our head coach and whatnot. But that's the only thing consistent in pro football is you're going to have change and you're going to have adversity. And you're going to guarantee that. So really the teams that fight through adversity the best are the ones that ends up in those positions. And unfortunately, we couldn't get the ball back there in the end because I really felt like we could have gone down and got a score. And I was already thinking, let's go for 2 and win this thing in regulation. But it happens.
So have you given it any thought of a return? Because you're a free agent, correct?
I'll be a free agent in February.
Okay, so are you thinking about returning to the Montreal, or what have you thought from here on out?
The GM has reached out to me regarding a couple of coaching candidates, talked to him about a couple guys and asked my opinion on them. And he told me that as soon as he gets the coach done, he wants to, Gino and I would be, you know, first priority to try and get done.
Nice.
But I kind of just lean to my agent here in this situation. That's kind of why you pay them the big bucks and allow them to kind of let you know what's going on. But who the coach is, who the coordinator is, the guys you're surrounded by, obviously is a huge deal. But I've really enjoyed my time there, and nobody more professional than Danny Machocha. He's done a tremendous job, and I think he's going to be Montreal's in a good situation as long as they have him leading the way.
Yeah.
So you did grow up in America, I believe, in Ohio. My family's from Dayton, Ohio. I don't know how far that is away from you grew up. My grandma tells everyone, Dayton, Ohio, we have red cream soda and fried bologna sandwiches and all this fun stuff.
Wolver, right.
And she tells me, she goes, you go to Universal Studios, it's got nothing on Kings Island. I'm like, I don't know what that is, Grandma, but I hope to visit it one day. So you did transition to the Canadian Football League. Now, what are the biggest difference in your eyes between the NFL here in America and the CFL over there in Canada?
I mean, the talent level is, you know, going to be a little bit different. You know, those guys make a ton of money. There's some mutants in the NFL, you know, like Myles Garrett, but you'd be surprised by the talent in the NFL. We have a lot of guys that, you know, play in the NFL and come up and get released or just are really, really shocked at how good the football is up there. But the biggest difference, obviously, is the 3 downs versus 4. The 12th guy on the field really changes the dynamic of the game. But the biggest thing is 3 down versus 4 down because it changes the strategy of the game completely. In American football, you're starting basically at 2nd and 10, which is a throwing down. And so the fact that we line up in shotgun almost every play, it's just a passing league more say. And if you're a bad thrower of the football or you're struggling throwing the football, you can't really hide that kind of a guy in the CFL, where in the NFL and in college football, if you're really running the football, you can do a great job of, if your quarterback's struggling or keeping the defense off balance with a little more play action, a little more guard pull, trap pass sort of stuff. And so you see a little bit more creativity. But it's an exciting brand of football because if you watch it, you've got the halo on the punt returns and those sorts of things. But it's a really fun league.
Now, the fan base over there in Canada, are they as rabid, like crazy as the American fans? Is there like CFL fantasy football leagues? Are you getting added on Twitter? Man, why didn't you score 3 touchdowns? Like, are they that hardcore over there?
They are. I get quite a few messages and guys telling me they hope I trip and fall in a mud puddle because I only threw for X amount of yards. And that's just the PG rated version. They tell me much more harsh things. There's I'll tell you what, there's a lot of really quality fans. But if you go over to places like Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, I mean, that's really like the be all end all is Canadian football. And the fans are amazing. The league does a good job of giving them access to players. We meet a lot of the fans, and so it's a good time. But obviously it's not as big as the NFL. I mean, the TV contracts are lucrative here, and there's just a ton more people in the United States. I think the population of California is roughly the population in Canada.
Oh, wow. So, as we said earlier, we are part of the Finns Talk Network. Got used to saying something else there. The biggest debate we have on this network is Tua. And I heard you on another live earlier in the week talking about quarterbacks in the NFL. So could you give us your professional quarterback opinion on Tua and the outlook of Tua from here on out?
I had a hard time evaluating Tua coming out of college. I like to evaluate some of the quarterbacks that are going to get drafted early. And I had a hard time evaluating him because everybody around him is so good at Alabama. His fourth receiver was Henry Ruggs. He's got Jerry Jeudy. He's got Devontae Smith. And he's got one more, Jalen Waddle. And, their backup running back, third-string running backs, Brian Robinson. They got Najee Harris as their backup running back. I mean, they're just loaded, right? So it's really difficult to evaluate those guys because everything's perfect around them. But as you've seen this year, Tua is outstanding, with anticipation, and he's very, very accurate. My worry for him was his body frame. Would he be able to last through an entire season? Because, he had quite a few injuries and major injuries at that in college. And, when you're missing that many injuries in college, the guys just get bigger and faster in the NFL. But I think you're seeing him start to reach his ceiling right now. Because if you watch Mike McDaniels, he's a descendant of Kyle Shanahan and, a tree of all the guys with McVay and whatnot. They do a lot of great things in their offense with some jet B motion, which is when they jet motion across, they snap it right after they get to the guard. They run some like slow to go seam routes with the rail routes up the sideline with, a slide back underneath. And they do a ton of stuff, generating numbers and leverage for Tyreek Hill and, generating leverage for their O-line to go up and get in zone blocks. So I think they're a little bit ahead of the curve, in terms of what they're scheme-wise do. So I think you're seeing Tua's ceiling, to be honest with you. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I think he's playing MVP caliber football up to last week.
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to add that. Like, I think he's up there in the MVP talks, so ceiling's pretty good right now. But I would like to see what he can do without Tyreek or without Waddle. Maybe just I don't want to see anyone injured, of course, but I want to see him succeed and make that play, make that throw, come back and make that win. I love Tua. I'm the Tua guy. He's the Tua hater, this guy. And I'm the Tua fan. I'm an optimist over here. And I just want to see the guy succeed. I think last week when he got tackled oddly and he kind of fell and he kind of got his knee all tore up, I was really worried, but he came back in the game and crushed it. So I'm a big fan of Tua. Just wanted to put that out there.
I like to kind of describe quarterbacks one of two ways. Or if they're called, I like to call them a needle mover. You move the needle at your program, and it's hard to tell if he was a needle mover at Alabama. Now, is he a needle mover in the NFL? I don't know, because I think Tyreek Hill moves the needle more than Tua does.
So it's funny because you sound a lot like a guy that I was taught from at SNWW or Sports Management Worldwide, Russ Landy, who obviously works with Montreal. So how many conversations do you have with him? Because you sound a lot like him.
Dude, Russ and I he picked me up from the airport when I got traded to Montreal. Nice. And him and I sat in traffic, but it felt like we were talking for 5 minutes, but about an hour and a half went by. And at the end of the season, after I had my exit interviews, I kind of sat down with Russ and just kind of chatted with him. And I looked down and we were chatting for about an hour. And so that guy is amazing, man. I love him. He loves football, and we had a good time chatting. I love Russ.
Definitely.
So I like to ask a lot of athletes this, a lot of people this, a lot of my managers, my leaders in my workspace. Who's had the biggest impact on your career? We just talked about your mentor there. Who else has mentored you through your career?
The guy that's had the biggest impact on me is named Scott Milanovich. He's quarterback coach for the Colts currently. When I came in the CFL in 2012, he was my head coach for 4 years. And everything that I learned in the CFL was based on, the way that he taught it. And when I connected with Scott, it was more of I thought for the first two and a half years, he never spoke a word to me except for to yell at me. But this guy was so intelligent, and little did I know through that time how much he loved me and adored me. He just told me, as the years went on, but he told me that he saw a lot of himself in me, and saw that, I had a lot of ability to play as long as I wanted to, but he saw a lot of a coach in me, and he really wanted to kind of develop me as that. And I see the game similarly to him. And every time I talk to him, we'll talk every off season. We talk during seasons. And actually, I just went and visited with him last week and went and watched the Monday night game. And, it's amazing that when you get people like that, I'm sure you guys can attest to this, of mentors you've had, they continue coaching you through your whole life, even when they're not around you, because the things they've taught you and told you, situations will come up and you'll say, like, I remember what this mentor of mine told me to do in this situation. He's groomed me for this moment. He's, helped mold me for these sorts of situations. And he's been a guy that has really been huge for me.
It's cool. I love those stories. I love meeting these kind of people that change our lives and our careers.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because when we first started talking years back, it was always, you would tell me it was your brother, Cody, was your mentor and how great he was. And but college football has happened. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Cody, he continues to drive me to this day, and my dad does as well. But as you kind of go through pro football, your knowledge level goes from here, it grows exponentially, it feels like every year. And Scott's a guy, when you're around him, I'll tell you, if he's ever gets an opportunity to be a coordinator or head coach to get his own show in the NFL, you'll see that team skyrocket. And I fully believe that. And I hope he would get that opportunity. And I've always told him I'd love to coach for him someday. And so, he's just a guy that I've always adored. But yeah, Cody and I have always kind of been each other's mentors.
Yeah. I remember way back then, you were like, he's a better quarterback than I am. And unfortunately, he didn't have the opportunity. I think he got hurt his senior year, correct?
Yeah, he kind of had some injuries, and he became a physician assistant, and he's one of the best physician assistants in America. He's actually one of the higher paid ones too, and he's phenomenal at what he does. Nice. And he's got a little bit more stable of a job than I do, so I think he's doing just fine.
So, with that being said, when you're done playing, what do you think's next? Coaching, maybe going to the media side. What do you think's next for you?
I've always thought coaching for sure, just because I feel like you can have such an impact on the youth. And obviously my first love of everything is Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian, and everything's about, where God and where Jesus wants me in life. But to be honest, it's more, I think coaching can be, you can help mentor kids like we've just talked about. You can have mentors, and you can impact so many lives as you're a coach, because whenever you ask people who's been the biggest influence in your life, aside from parents, coaches are the next people. And a lot of times when kids go play college football, some of them didn't have the best home life. I've had, a lot of teammates that didn't quite have that, but their coaches were there for them. and I want to be that kind of guy for them. But I've thought about going into NFL scouting. I've actually recently opened my own business, online business. As we know, online shopping's, the way of the future, and wanted to get in on that sort of online real estate sort of stuff. So I poked around here and there, but yeah, I always felt like coaching was kind of what I was going to make my mark doing anyway.
Trevor, I want to ask you this because we talked about this before we went live. If on my Twitter feed or just every once in a while, I'm big on drink your water before your coffee, drink some water before you eat your donuts or whatever you're going to just drink your water. I had no idea. And I had somewhat of an idea because, you see the pH levels, all that stuff. Like right now I'm legit drinking water. I drink a ton of water. I didn't know there was a difference between Zephyr Hills down here in Florida or whatever's like, I didn't know. My brother works for the county here in Tampa. He's like, yeah, our tap water's pH level is just as good as Zephyr Hills. I'm like, okay. So I just drink the tap water. Can you explain the difference? Like I'm seriously interested.
Yeah. pH level is a big thing, but the other thing that is in water is there's a lot of metals and toxins, in our water. And so you want to make sure that you're getting like high quality filtered water, but pH level, here's a little fun fact for you. Cancer can't exist in an alkaline system, and you've probably heard the word alkaline water. And water makes up about 75% of our body. And I know these things because I became a nutritionist, so I've just kind of nerded out during the pandemic. And if you can get your body in an alkaline state, you can really get out of your body's way per se of sicknesses, diseases, and whatnot. And so the two most important things you can do is sleep 8 hours a night, which we don't get that nowadays because people have their phones right by their beds. They keep their sounds on and they don't want to miss a single thing. It wakes you up in the middle of the night. You shouldn't be having that blue light from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. regardless of the situation, just because there's a lot of things with insulin levels, that can eventually turn into diabetes. There's, like I just said, sugar. There's depression states. There's sort of things that mess with your cortisol, your melatonin levels. And so, keeping that phone away from you at night, making sure you're getting quality 8 hours, sunlight within the first hour of you waking up. But like you said, water and sleep are going to be the most important things for sure.
Do you do the red light at night instead of the blue? My buddy is she has her own brand called like Hippie whatever. It's really good. She posts all these things, but she's trying to tell me, Josh, get the red lights at nighttime. Turn the red lights on. Have you heard of this?
I have. I don't know much about it. It would be ignorant for me to speak because I haven't done research on it. I don't like to speak unless I know actually what I'm talking about. But I actually might have to look into that. I do have some blue blockers. I don't know how much they do or what they do, but I did invest in the blue blocker glasses for $20 on Amazon, and I also got a little blue blocker.
Yeah, I got them too.
On my phone. So.
Love it.
So it sounds to me like you're going to play to your 45 like Tom Brady because are you in the TB12?
Yeah, I actually went up and trained. I went up and trained his facility. So I went up for 2 off seasons and trained up there. And, I was starting to age a little bit, right? You're 34 and people start asking you a question. Hey, Trev, how long are you going to play, man? I'm like, why the hell are guys asking me? Like, I'm young. What do you mean? And then your teammates are born in 1998. And we have a teammate of mine this year who's born in 2000. Ooh. And it's just mind numbing to hear that. Right. And so I hear that and I'm like, okay, I better start, really investing in, preserving this body. And so I went and trained at TB12 because he knows something. Dude's 45 and still slinging it. Exactly. People talking about how his arm strength's up there. And so I went out there and learned, the pliability, sort of what they do, why they do it. And that's really the more important thing is not what he does, but why and how. So I was able to learn that. I learned a lot about nutrition, Brady's diet, and a lot of it, mostly he just tries to keep inflammation out of his body with his diet. And he does a lot higher level stuff where he tests his DNA to find out what his body's allergic to, what his body's receptive of, and those sorts of things. So he's really next level with it. But my budget is a little bit lower than his. So I don't have Alex Guerrero following me around. I have my wife helping me out with a massage gun, and that's about it. So,
well, the big question, I don't think people would let us walk away from this. Are you eating avocado ice cream?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Is it good?
I tell you what. Have you guys ever had it or tried it?
I have not. No.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot you the recipe if you guys want to try it out. It is really good. And I would actually suggest he does cacao powder. I would suggest finding a really good quality protein powder, a good chocolate protein powder, because then you're adding some protein to it.
Yep.
You might think like it's disgusting because there's avocados, there's like coconut and those sorts of things, but it is really good. Like if you've got a sweet tooth and you're really wanting to really curb that, it's a great thing.
Well, please send that our way because Josh knows I've been working out all year. I've gained a lot of muscle. I lost a lot of fat. I used to be a bigger face, and I do have the sweet tooth. I have the sweet tooth, and I need something because
I do too.
I'll tell you what, these rice cakes and peanut butter at night aren't doing it for me anymore.
I'll tell you what, man, I've got some good stuff for you. I can send your way that I've been doing. I've actually eliminated bread. I've eliminated pasta, no dairy, no condiments. So like if you go to Chipotle, no cheese, no sour cream, and it's like, well, what do you put in there? It's tough, but once you get through that first couple few weeks, it really becomes easy. But that avocado ice cream, do you guys have like a Vitamix, like a high quality blender?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
As long as you got that, you can make the avocado ice cream.
Perfect. I can't wait for that because I'm gonna make it probably whenever you send it. I'm going to Publix, like literally.
Perfect.
But anyway, you have a much more important job than playing quarterback. You told me before you have to get ready to put your kids to sleep. So I'm going to let you go do that. I appreciate you coming on. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you guys want to have me back on, we can chat a little bit more. We can maybe in a few weeks we can get on here and eat some avocado ice cream together.
That'd be
that
awesome.
Great to me.
Shirtless, right?
Hey, you said you've been putting on the muscle. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Love it. Thanks for coming on, Trevor, man. It's been a blast.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Bye.
There we go. Trevor Harris. Such a great guy. What'd you think about that?
I'm excited for the avocado ice cream. Although Tom's like literally down the street playing in Raymond James, I'd probably go ask him. But no, Trevor, I want it from you though. I don't like. Okay, do you like avocado? Can you just eat it?
So, I don't know. I'm weird when it comes to avocado. I like it when it's in sushi, and I like guacamole. So,
I like it when it's in my eggs or on a sandwich. Other than that, and guacamole is fine, of course. But I've seen my daughter just take an avocado and take a bite, and I'm like, "You're not my kid. There's no way you just did that." She does it with onions too. Onions. She'll just take an onion and eat it like an apple. And I'm like, I don't know what's
crazy.
wrong with you.
That is crazy. I'm trying to think what that reminds me of. I just watched the Grinch.
Shrek? Oh, the Grinch. The Grinch. Yeah. My daughter is turning 13 tomorrow, so happy birthday, Violet. If you are watching this, you told me you will watch it. So, Violet, if you're watching, thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up button. Yeah. Oh, I blew my cover.
Happy birthday, Anyway, so Tua did not have great transition. Tua didn't have the greatest game last night or yesterday.
Hi,
what
Liz.
were your thoughts on Tua?
So, newsflash, everyone in the whole Fins Talk Network community. I'm Violet. I've been spamming everyone's chats. It's my daughter's account. I'm Violet. And I was watching the bandwagon, and they were going on about how they're going to blow the 49ers out. They're this, they're that. And I was like, no, guys, like the 49ers are good. They have a great defense. They have great weapons, yada, yada, yada. They're going to lose. That was my take. They lost because of turnovers. They lost because of, I don't want to say who and why they lost, but they lost because of turnovers. A lot of balls thrown in not the space where they're supposed to be thrown. Some over here, some way up here, some way down here. So I'm just going to say this. It was not good for Tua. And it was probably his worst game I've ever seen him play. People are going to say, no, that's not true. But I think it's his worst game I've ever seen him play.
I think it's a combination. Everyone saw that Tua was uncomfortable yesterday. Whether it been losing the left tackle or something. I don't know. He was overthrowing deep in the middle of the field, which is never good. And he had some turnovers, whether it was his fault or not. He had turnovers. And it just was not a good game overall. But I also want to put a little blame on the head coach and the play caller because he could have saw that Tua was uncomfortable, and he could have went to something that Tua was very, very comfortable at. He could have Tua's like elite at 3-step drops, getting the ball out quick, and just get more of a motion going. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him just start calling 3-step drops, getting the ball out, maybe to the running back, to a little screen to the receiver, crossing pad. I don't know, but just get the ball out to his hands quickly because that's what he's great at.
So full disclosure to everyone watching, I watched half of the Dolphins game, the second half. I had a giant WrestleMania match that happened in my house between me and my two kids, my two daughters. I German suplexed one of them, literally, legit. Brock Lesnar, right? Because they were trying to steal. They were trying to steal my wallet and my phone. So anyway, I didn't watch the first half because literally for an hour and a half I fought my kids. The second half is when I tuned in. I didn't see when Waddle went out. I didn't see how well. Waddle
I think
went
we
out.
were talking when you started watching.
Yeah, and that was like halftime. And all I know is, and we talked about this with Trevor. I want to see him succeed without all the pieces around him. I want to see him succeed where he has to make someone good, where he has to make this receiver good. He was exposed, man. He was like, Tyreek can't just catch every deep ball ever. He can't. And that's what they were trying to do. Like, oh shit, boom. And then he was getting hit, or he's getting sacked, or he's turning the ball over, or he's fumbling. That's just, you did it against Baltimore. Well, they're an inferior defense. You can't do that shit against Bosa and the 49ers. You just can't.
Yeah. And that's what I've been talking about for a while. I want to see what Tua does when everything doesn't go right. And we have seen that. We saw that happen with the team that you're talking about, Baltimore. He threw, two interceptions in that game and was able to come back and win the game. But that was a defense learning how to become a defense, essentially, because they had a new defensive scheme, new defensive coordinator at the time, and they were still building that defense. 49ers have one of the best defenses in the league, so it's going to be hard, like you said, to come back and do something. And I've previously said Tua is not a quarterback that can come back from mistakes. If Tua can play mistake-free football
but he did against Baltimore. But you said he can't, so therefore you're saying that he's not possible of doing it. He was possible of doing it. He did it. So and I will say this, and I don't know. Like I said, I have to watch the game back, and I will watch the game back. I don't know what happened with Waddle yet. I didn't have time to look it up today. I've been very busy.
He dropped a lot of balls.
I want to say he dropped a lot of balls. I want to say this about Waddle. Waddle's essential to that team. I think he's more essential than Tyreek. I think Waddle's the reason why Tyreek gets wide open. And when Waddle's not on the field producing, we're gonna have problems like this.
They are all wide
I hear
open.
people talking about car craft and no, guys, it's Tua, it's Waddle, it's Tyreek. These other guys are just role players. Like, what the fuck? What happened to Jeff Wilson? What happened? I'm just so mad because
they're not running the ball.
I'm just so mad because I started Jeff Wilson in all my fantasy leagues. Sorry, guys. And he just sucked. He sucked.
Yeah, but the issue is they're not running the ball.
Yeah,
they're putting the ball into his hands at all times, and they're not helping him. So if they would have probably a more balanced attack and went to what Tua was more comfortable with, you probably win the game. Honestly, if they didn't turn the ball over, they 100% win that game. They're in charge, in my opinion, the entire game until the turnovers.
And I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm not saying that the sky is falling, but as an outsider, as a non-Dolphins fan like you are, who would you rather root for? What team would you rather be a fan of right now in the moment? The New York Jets with what they're doing over there, or the Miami Dolphins what they're doing over here?
I mean, Miami Dolphins.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
dude. Look, I know this is probably like going to kick me off the network, yada yada yada. But dude, they're building something special in New York, and if you can't see that,
I think Miami is building something special.
I think they're building something special as well. But I think these guys are young. They're building them up like homegrown talent, where they just buying Tyreek, buying this guy. Like Waddle's homegrown, cool. Gesicki's got a foot out the door. He's not going to be here. I just think in New York, they're doing something special. Garrett Wilson's a certified fucking stud. Sauce Gardner's over there shutting down Justin Jefferson. I don't know, man. Can any of the Dolphins receivers shut down Jefferson? No, because they didn't. Sauce Gardner did. That's all I'm saying. I just think they're building something special, but I love my Fins, of course.
It sounds like me. I'm more of a Dolphins fan than you are.
You know,
I mean, do you go to work and have a Dolphins blanket cover you up?
No, I don't.
Think so.
I have a Lightning one. Let's go.
Exactly. I'm probably more of a Dolphins fan than you are right now, and that's a shame.
It is a shame. So when I was growing up, who was your biggest rival of like your sports team? So the Cowboys always hated the Giants.
Eagles.
Eagles, okay. Dolphins, in my eyes, Jets were number one enemy. I hated the Jets more than anyone in the world. You know, the Monday Night Miracle, everything. Jets were like, I remember going to a Dolphins game. We beat the Broncos, and the Jets lost too. And instead of like rooting for us, everyone was just going, Jets, sucks. It's like, we just hate the fucking Jets. Then it merged to the Patriots. Now it's the Bills. Craziest division. And you guys always just hate one team.
Yeah, because... I mean, the Giants are the Giants.
But why can't we be the most hated for once in my life? Why can't we be the most hated?
What,
Dolphins
Miami?
are never the most. Yeah, they're never, because they're never on top.
Exactly. Miami has essentially been the Washington Commanders throughout my lifetime of your division.
I like the Commanders. I think they're going to do good this year. I know.
Yeah, I
we're
think
week
the
14,
Commanders are an underdog.
I really do think. I think they're going to make the playoffs, man. That's crazy. That's great.
Four
a lot
teams
of crazy
in the NFC East are probably going to make the playoff.
A lot of crazy things happened in the NFL yesterday. Like Jimmy Garoppolo just went down. Baker Mayfield just got cut. People are talking about Baker potentially going to the 49ers. Lamar got hurt. He's going to miss some time. It's just a wild NFL season to finish this out. You know, the Mahomes and the Chiefs just lost at the Bengals. Is Trevor texting you?
Yeah.
I'm so cool. I know people.
No, I was just responding back to the man. Sorry.
If you're just now tuning in, this is the Beer and Sports Podcast hosted by Josh Wingate, Josh Kimmel, OUS. If you're new and you just joined in for Trevor Harris, there's going to be more guests just like that. So please stick around, hit the like, subscribe button, turn on the notifications. What
do we got going on next week? Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Well, next week we have some, I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say it's about to get spooky in December. Maybe a little Nightmare of Christmas. What's that movie called with Jack the Skeleton? Right? This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Yeah. Halloween. Yeah, it's gonna get spooky here in the what is this? A bar? Are we in our basements? Where are we? Who knows?
Wherever you want to be, bro.
Yeah, but I'm excited for next week. We're gonna talk some ghosts. We're gonna talk some supernatural stuff.
Yeah,
but
I'm excited too. Even though when you initially told me, I'm like, what are you doing,
dude?
But
listen. Hey, if anyone in the chat knows anyone about flat Earth, the Mandela effect, marine biology, I want to talk it all. Look, spoiler, we're rebranding here. All right, we're workshopping some things. We're just here to have fun and learn some new things, and that's what I'm here for. And I want to bring these awesome drink beer. Yes, I'm drinking a White Claw, not a beer, because I'm healthy.
I want to drink and know things.
I have to. Yes, I have to eat avocado toast or avocado ice cream with Trevor Harris shirtless next time he comes on.
Yeah,
and I will.
No, you won't.
Yeah, well.
I was curious about that. That's crazy because as you start talking to him and he's going on about his knowledge of alkaline water and he's like, man, he sounds a lot like Tom Brady here. So I had to ask that question.
It's a good thing to know about your water because my brother tells me like just drink the tap water. I work for the county. Our water's pH levels are blah blah blah. I'm like, Sam, come on, man. I'll drink tap water though. I know there's a sink obviously in my room, and if I run out of water in my Progressive cup that I have, I just go to the sink. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna start carrying because I want to be jacked like Trevor. That's what I want to be.
Yeah.
When I grow up, I can't believe I'm older. Now, just by like a couple months, I look like this, and he looks so good. He looks so good, and I look this.
So, have you been keeping up with baseball at all? Because I know you're a Tampa Bay fan, and big things have been happening in baseball. Have you been keeping up?
I told you, I tagged you on Twitter. The Tampa Bay market for baseball is literally this. It's we're spring training. We got a good club. We got these good talents. We're gonna win 90 games. Yada yada yada. Right? And then we get into the season. Oh, the Rays are struggling. And then the Rays caught on fire. And then, oh, the Rays get beat in the postseason. Oh, sorry about your luck. Then, hey, where are we moving the stadium? Can the stadium get moved to Tampa?
Yeah.
I don't want to cross. Then it's 3 months of phone calls to the local radio station. I'm not driving over across the bridge to watch a baseball game. And then you got the St. Pete people going, I don't go to Lightning games because I'm not crossing a bridge. That's sports in Tampa.
So Jacob deGrom is going to Texas now. He's going to be a Ranger, the big time, potentially best pitcher in baseball, other than the guy out in L.A. with the Angels, who can hit a baseball 500 yards, 500 feet, and then Verlander, he's going to be a Met, which kind of makes sense. Him moving with Kate Upton to New York, that makes sense. And then today, Trey Turner, the best shortstop in baseball, is going to be a Philadelphia Philly, baby.
That's good for you. I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know the hot stove was heating up. I didn't know things were actually happening.
It's winter meetings.
Oh,
so
it is a winter
when
meeting.
a lot of stuff happens. So we're going to probably see a trade come out of this, a lot more signing. So
yeah, I've been paying more attention to the World Cup more than baseball hot stove stuff. Just to be honest with you, I actually streamed the USA game on my phone in the middle of a golf course while watching my daughter try to attempt to hit a golf ball. She's a golfer now. So yeah, I'm more into the World Cup. My daughter's into it too. I don't think I said that. She loves Portugal. I don't know why. No idea. Is there like a hot player on there? Ronaldo?
Kick her out of the house.
Neymar?
It's America.
I showed her the video of Zinedine Zidane headbutting the guy that one time. And she's like, did he get kicked out of the game? I said, yep, sure did. And it was awesome. Josh, what are you doing?
I'm listening to you, bro.
Hey, look at us with our Christmas trees. Yours is lit up. Mine's more of a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, but Charlie Brown's a cooler. I watched Elf with my kids the other day. Let me tell you something. Elf, the most overrated Christmas movie of all time. The story is...
So we had to get him off for having that take because that was the worst take of all time.
The shallowest plot of all time is Elf. He falls in love with this girl in 5 seconds. He's a freaking weirdo.
Because he's never really seen women before.
He's a freaking weirdo. And she's like, yeah, I'll go on a date with a freaking weirdo. And then all of a sudden they fall in love. Guy. And then he helps his brother in a snowball fight. And all of a sudden they're best friends now all of a sudden. And then he tells Elf to get out. Go away. And just because his kid cried, come on, Dad, you're selfish. You don't care about yourself. And then Santa Claus comes. It's the most shallow plot of all time.
Probably
I think people just remember.
All time.
I think people just remember those scenes and they don't remember the whole movie.
Probably the greatest movie of all time.
It wasn't as good as the Polar Express. Better Christmas movie, Polar Express.
So it depends on what you're looking for. If you want to get that Christmas feel, yeah, Polar Express, great for that. If you just want to laugh, then throw on Elf and just have a good time because it's funny.
If I want to laugh, I'll watch comedy. I'll watch Scrooged or the Santa Claus or anything else. Elf is good, but the jokes are kind of played out. Sorry, it's over. It had a good run, like 10 years.
You're saying you'll watch Santa Claus and laugh more than you'll watch Elf and laugh.
I think so. I think Tim Allen, in that time in his life, his peak was better than Will Ferrell at that time at Elf.
Some bad takes.
I'm just telling you.
On me about my amazing takes on Tua, and you're coming out with these takes.
I'm just telling you, Tim Allen at that
dare
time.
You disrespect or Christmas movies.
Tim Allen was Buzz Lightyear. And he was the Santa Claus. Seriously, I love that movie. Maybe because I was a kid. Elf came out when I was an adult.
What's the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Jingle All the Way, which we're going to watch that soon. I've been watching a Christmas movie every night with my kids since December 1st. And that's on the list.
I've tried. We tried watching Charlie Brown yesterday because she has like this Snoopy that does the Charlie Brown theme song and everything. And she did not want to watch it, so...
Are we out of topics, Josh?
No, we're not out of topics. We can go all day. What's going on?
Let's
with,
wrap this. Let's wrap
talk
this
about
bitch up.
hockey.
Because
No,
I
let's
want to
talk
watch.
about hockey.
I want to watch Monday Night Raw. It's the 9:00 hour. Let's wrap this bitch up. We had a good time. Trevor Harris was amazing. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on. Like, subscribe. Fins Talk Network.
Yeah, it goes. You got to say. Make sure to say, like and subscribe. That's what I have on here. If you're not looking at it.
On the sheet. No, I'm not looking at the sheet.
Fins Talk Sports Network at Fins Talk Network, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and then we also have the Beer and Sports Podcast at Mugs and Balls on Facebook,
Workshopping names.
YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and then as well. And I think I clarified this by watching. You need to watch more of the shows in the network there, bud. By watching the show last night, the Fins Talk Sports Network is giving away a jersey after we get 500 subscribers, not at the 500th subscriber. So
I'm
cool.
glad
You
we
can get a
clarified
Waddle,
that because I
John
asked
Holland. You did, and that's why I came up back with that. So you always like to have a little bit of wisdom to give to the people.
So I knew Trevor Harris was a very motivational person. I listened to a lot of his interviews today, preparing for this interview, and so I wanted to get on his level. I know I'm not there, like I'm down here, but success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.